Yeah, I am on the casting couch.
Hey everyone, this is Led, and we've got Joe and Colton here.
Yo.
Hello.
With the wrong podcast. So today I'm actually leading. We have a great debate set up, if you like cars. Fictional cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like fictional.
People are almost
Insert
worried.
word.
I had lots of Hot Wheels growing up. Does that count?
I own a car. I've seen a car.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
It's like we live in
More
a
than
modern
people
age.
in North Korea can say.
Oh.
Joe, too soon.
Too soon for a country.
Too soon, everything that you say.
Yeah.
So starting off, just to kind of go over something I've been thinking about, as far as handheld gaming devices.
Right.
So, PlayStation Portable, Vita, the DS,
That's
they're
right.
really on the decline at this
Yeah.
point. I mean, the Vita, they're basically not supporting anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody, they play cell phone games on the shitter. You're not really going out and paying $500 for a handheld device. So my question to both of you is, can this be saved?
I think you bring up the exact point that it's cell phones that have kind of caused the decline of portable gaming. I think if cell phones didn't exist in a smartphone way with downloadable games and everything like that, I think portable gaming would probably be a much larger industry. But look at around the time when like Android phones and iPhones started to become more and more popular. This is probably one only about 10 years ago, and all of a sudden these handheld consoles are just trying more and more to do things that are new and different, like the Vita has the touchscreen enabled on the back, and the DS has the multiple screens and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think cell phones more or less are kind of killing the medium, as to say.
I see a lot of people still with 3DSs, though, and I think
Right.
that's Nintendo's kind of like flagship right now is the DS.
That's all Nintendo has
That's
right
their
now.
main moneymaker
Yeah,
at
that's-
this point.
So I don't think it's...
I think
I
it's
don't-
on the
I don't
decline.
know if that's going to
They
die.
have to know it's on its
Yeah.
way out.
I think probably one of the best things that maybe they could do is maybe Nintendo should make an agreement with, say, Android or iPhone to bring those games in a digital format to the Play Store or to the iTunes Store and stuff like that. Imagine, if DS
Is that what they're doing?
Kind of, but I think that they should do a more aggressive aspect of that. Imagine, turning on my phone and I can play Pokemon Red, not as an emulator, but like an official Nintendo Pokemon game that's released not only on the DS, but also on the phone the same day.
Like how Final Fantasy has been doing.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
now at that point in that example, they're no longer a hardware. They're no longer an electronics company
Right.
in that sense. They're
Right.
just a software company.
I mean, you can still do hardware. Microsoft is still a hardware company, but their primary focus is software. So I think you can have priorities, but then you can also have other things that you also can have personal functionality with. I just think that they need to focus more on the games we want to play. Because how often, neither of us own, any of us own a DS, right?
I did.
You did.
I used to have one.
Exactly.
I still
All
have
used to
one
own them.
somewhere.
If they came out with a game that would make me want to get a DS, I would buy a DS to play that game, and then I'd have a DS to play other games. But there's no game out currently that I was like that can justify a $200 price tag on top of the game for me. But maybe you wouldn't have to if I could just buy the game and play it on my phone.
Again, at least for me, that goes back to the IPs thing.
Right.
But I guess I'm not going to pay $200 for something that. Well, first of all, if I am going to game, it's going to be on my phone.
Exactly.
And aside from that, what am I going to play on it? But that's just me.
Yeah.
One thing that stops me from playing, I guess, legitimate games besides, something that I play for 10 minutes at a time on my phone is battery life on current
That's a good
smartphone.
one. That's a
because,
good point.
What's great about a dedicated handheld, you can play for, 10 hours at a time.
And it doesn't ruin your battery.
Yeah, a smartphone, I play Clash of Clans for 30 minutes straight, and it'll kill my battery.
You bring up another good point, too. Not only just battery life, but also connectivity on that as well. I mean, can any of us really say that we could stop interacting on our phone for Facebook, text messages, Twitter, whatever else have you,
Just the game.
for multiple hours just to exclusively use? So let's say the battery thing wasn't a factor. Could I not be connected to all the other sociable aspects of having a smartphone exclusively to play a game on that device? So that having a separate gaming console solves that problem, as to say.
Yeah, because those things all take away from your immersion in
Exactly.
what a dedicated handheld would give you.
Exactly.
Like
So-
when you get a status update off of Facebook, but
Oh
you're
my God.
using Google Cardboard, so it shows up right in your face.
Oh my God.
That
Becky, I don't want to know about your baby.
That reminds me of a skit way back in the days of early Xbox Live. Somebody posted it. Advanced Warfare. There was this thing where it was kind of like a HoloLens, but they said what it'd be like if advertising, like you're like using it in your everyday life, and all of a sudden pop-ups just filled it everywhere, and you couldn't see where you're going. It just fell down.
I think I saw a parody of that for Google Glass as well. After that came out, it was like, oh yeah, Google Glass is really cool until I start seeing all the local singles in my area advertisements while I'm trying to navigate through New York City. So yeah, I mean that's a really good point. And then the other issue with that too that I think brings up is that advertisement and stuff like that. If they're not making the kind of money on mobile games, I'd be really worried about the price tag that goes on top of that for aesthetics, but also just playing and buying a game on my phone. So, I mean, if I buy it once on my phone, do I also have to buy it again on, say, my DS console, for instance? Or will they have some kind of
cross-buy?
That would be
I would hope so. Yeah, I would hope so. But this isn't being done. So, the only game that I know as of recently that's doing that is Quantum Break. It was originally an Xbox One exclusive, but they just announced that it's going to be on the PC, and it's going to have a cross-buy, I think. So if you buy it on one, you get it for the other one, which is huge.
That's awesome.
And I think that's amazing. And honestly, that's gigantic. I think they're also going to have a cross-save feature, too. So if I start playing on the PC, I can continue playing on my Xbox. Why aren't people doing this? That is amazing. That's exactly the kind of functionality that I want in my game.
Well, Microsoft will do it, and then haters on the internet will just... they'll just...
People are really pissed about that it's coming out on PC because it's only a couple months from coming out. And one guy saw this thing on Reddit. He canceled his pre-order because he felt that Microsoft lied to him by saying it was an Xbox exclusive for all this time. And now he's pissed that PC
he gets
players...
2 games, sort of.
Doesn't matter.
Free.
He feels lied to, so...
Well, he can lie his...
Exclusives, I think, are going to become a thing
of
of the past, more and more so here.
I think some exclusives will always be the same. Your Nintendos will always have your Zeldas, your Pokemons, your Mario Karts and stuff like that. Your Xbox will always have your Master Chiefs and your Forzas, and your PlayStation will always...
Master Chief. Speaking of Master Chief, I hate to...
No, you don't. Continue that.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I like it.
Go ahead.
I like it.
What are you saying?
Makes my... Anyways. No, I was just going to segue into a little thing about cosplay, but if you want, man, finish your...
Well, no, I was just going to say that exclusivity, I think, will always have a place in certain homes and certain consoles, but you're right, most games nowadays are going to be cross-platform, and I think that's something that the mobile game industry needs to realize, is that you need to expand out as opposed to trying to stay segmented away from everything else, because right now we are 3 very different gamers in the type of games that we want, and none of us are playing mobile games except on our phone.
I don't play mobile games on my phone.
I play like one at a time. How do you guys feel about, though, using a touch screen in the place of buttons? Like physical buttons.
I've done emulators on my phones, and it's fine. But it depends on the functionality of the game. Like, if it's a modern game that requires like a stylus or something, then having a stylus and the buttons on one screen is kind of annoying. But that's why DS's button setup, I think, works out really well.
Like, I've played a few Super Nintendo emulators on my phone, and I just didn't like it. My hands would cramp up after a while.
Phones aren't made for that. So,
especially when you hold your phone horizontally, it's like, and you're holding it like that.
Yeah,
it's just not comfortable for you for extended periods of time.
But once again, we're talking about emulators here. We're talking about programs that are made to emulate the functionality of other consoles and other hardware. I'm talking about them building hardware or building a game made for the mobile functionality. That's why when you play Clash of Clans, it plays fine. But you're trying to play... I don't know, what are you trying to play on your phone?
What are you talking about? Like other games? Earthbound.
Earthbound, yeah. That is not made to play on a mobile device, so they have to make controls that at least work so you can play, but they're not ideal.
That's a good point.
If they
tailored games.
Exactly. If they made a game with that platform in mind, they'd have controls that maybe were better. Maybe they would go as an over-the-top type of gameplay. They would change up the type of game to fit the platform. So,
hipster statement here. Do you guys remember the original device that tried combining gaming and phones into one, but
the
failed?
Nokia N-Gage.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
the Taco.
Oh yeah, I remember like GameStop was like a big supporter of that, and then immediately they're like, "We're not supporting this at all."
It crashed hard.
All right,
but it was like the original one. to bring the aspect of smartphones out.
Sure.
So, yeah, but anyways, going back to the other thing as far as
Topic number 2.
so yeah, you brought up Master Chief,
Yeah.
and I've been working on a Master Chief cosplay. So I wanted to ask you guys if you had anything planned or anything you wanted to do. And actually, before I continue, some people may not be aware of what cosplay is exactly.
It's
so
not
Joe,
just
can you-
girls dressing up very sexily.
It's
though. That is
mostly-
what
it's
most of those Facebook.
It's
fans
a
are
big
dedicated to.
percentage of it, but you're right.
Edwin, is your Master Chief cosplay sexy?
Yeah,
No,
he's
not
showing
at all.
the
Not at
midriff.
You're not
Nope.
you're not getting buff for the next Comic-Con.
His first one?
That I can't comment on.
Baby's first
but-
Comic Con.
Yeah. But it covers every inch of you.
Well,
Like,
but-
all.
Before we go into that, how is your costume coming? I mean, you're the only one of the three of us that's actively working on a costume, so give us a status report.
Well, it's coming well and finishing up pretty nicely.
Nice.
Zoink.
Swing.
Well, I have. So this is being made out of exercise mats. It's about 3/4 inch thickness.
Sure.
And you can cut it with a razor blade. You can use a heat gun to form it.
Right.
And what I've been doing is looking at a picture of the model from Halo 4.
Right.
For Master Chief. And then I basically cut the pieces a little bit bigger than what I think they should be. Mm-hmm. And then I fit them and then kind of trim them down to size.
Nice.
So I've got the shoulder pieces. Below that, there's a bicep part. And then I have the thighs, the thigh guards, and
That's
I have
right.
the crotch
You
guard.
chose the crotch guard, yeah.
Yeah.
Very impressive. I can see
Thank
why
you.
you made that piece bigger. Hey.
So it sounds like you're kind of like free-forming this, not going off of other instructional videos from YouTube of people making like Spartan armor.
No. So there are a couple main ways to do this. And when I say this, people are going to get really disappointed. But you can't just make a costume like this in a month.
Right.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Unless this is like your job. If you were like a professional costume maker or like a full-time
Yeah.
cosplayer, which there's only like 4 people in the world that get to do that.
Jessica Nigre.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I know you love her.
So
Who
you can either do the foam route,
Yeah.
which is, as I told you, you
Sure.
have to make them by hand. You can do a 3D printed route,
Right.
where you go on to, I don't know if I should say the name, but there's a famous group, if you just Google it, Master Chief Costume Group or Spartan Armor
Sure.
Cosplay Group. It'll be the first hit. They have the files to do it, and you can do it in a 3D printer.
Right.
And then finally, there's what's called Pepakura. You go to the same place, get
Right.
Pepakura files, and basically it's like origami times a million.
Right.
So you have to sit there for weeks just gluing and cutting and gluing, and finally you'll have like an arm.
That's how you guys made your the grenade, right? Isn't that the pattern, the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we tried to do it with a grenade, and it took Colleen about 2 or 3 hours. And this is a spherical object.
Yeah. This isn't like a
took 2 or
helmet or
3
anything
hours.
like that.
You
yeah.
couldn't just grab like a tennis ball and paint it.
You could
That
if
would
you
be a
really
lot
wanted
easier.
to. Yeah. We're going for
Much
quality
easier.
over here, Joe.
Yeah, so I feel like my cosplay,
What would you do if you like?
I don't even I feel like I'm trying to think of what any character I even look like, and I'm like, maybe Thor, like a skinny
Talking to the
Thor.
hipster Thor. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see it. Well, I mean,
Hipster Thor,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you don't have to look like them. I mean, Edwin's. I mean, I don't know what Master Chief really looks like.
You
No
don't
one
have to
does.
look like
It's-
him because you're covered in armor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
point,
he's
like-
been described as a pale dude, a ginger. With,
Yeah, he's ginger.
like lots
freckles.
of
He's
freckles.
like a gap in his teeth. Yeah.
Exactly, but exactly.
Conan
that's,
O'Brien.
yeah.
Conan O'Brien is tall.
But you're right. I mean, there's certain costumes that you can obscure your face to being. I mean, the whole point of cosplay and costuming is to embody a character that you love and kind of living that character.
I'd want to look like them though too.
Okay.
Like I don't like.
You
You know, I have
You
lots
don't
of
want to be
characters that-
Blade?
Yeah. Worst Blade interpretation ever. Yeah.
You know who you kind of look like, and you might want to consider is Gordon Freeman.
Oh yeah.
I could see that, right?
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
You look-
Gordon Freeman
Yeah,
from
no,
Half-Life. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy enough costume. I mean, you could definitely take some interpretation to it, and I think people would
Plastic rim glasses.
get. Yeah,
You know what? That's not a bad idea.
it's a good one,
Colin.
right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about this after. So, and I mean, Led here could definitely help you kind of get you. on
Yeah,
the
if
right
you've got
path.
armor ideas from already
Yeah.
making a Spartan armor, it's pretty similar to the what's it called? The suit that he has.
Oh God, I don't remember.
He doesn't have a helmet thing, does he?
No, he does not wear a helmet.
But all he really has is just that centralized chest piece, and the rest of it's just like fabric underneath.
Helmets are really tough.
Yeah, so I mean, especially if you get the dimensions wrong and it doesn't fit properly, that'd be really funky. I was looking into making a Red Hood costume last year, and the helmet always really threw me off because I was really worried it would come out too big or too low or too small, and then
That's the dome one, right? It's like a red dome thing.
Yeah, like the Batman sidekick Red Hood, the Jason Todd post Robin stuff, and the costume always looked really cool to me, and I've always wanted to go back and revisit it, but it's a lot of work. There's a lot of elements to it that I don't have any experience in, but I really do want to try it one day. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So
do it.
I know that right now, Colleen, Led's wife, is actually helping me get together a Green Lantern costume for a Comic-Con we're all going to go to. Well, I know you and me, Led, we're going to go.
Niagara Falls.
Joe will hopefully be attending, possibly.
And this is in June?
June or July.
Okay.
And we're all going to go to the Niagara Falls Comic-Con is one of our possible Comic-Con stops. I'm going to New York Comic-Con again this year, which is amazing.
I'll try.
You guys really should.
I'm going to try.
See, then I think of the cosplay you see there, and like, dude had like the Hulk Smasher,
the 9-foot tall Hulkbuster armor.
Yeah,
and he won the costume contest. I think he won like, I don't know, it was like 25.
How much money do you think they dropped into making that?
I asked him a quick question. I didn't ask him money, but he said that he spent, I think it was like 15 to 2,000 hours to build that thing total.
That's a lot of time.
And that's just, I mean, but...
And it wasn't just him, right? Wasn't it like a team of like a couple
Yeah,
people?
I mean, it was multiple people that were building it, but it was just one dude within the armor, though. But he had other people with him because he couldn't, like, take off the helmet or the arms without someone more or less helping him in a direction. I'm sure the visibility in that thing was more or less non-existent. So
it's like one of those things, like no matter how good you think you are at cosplaying, there's going to be somebody who's just blows you out of the water.
That's life, man.
Yeah.
Remember Qui-Gon. There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah. No, you bring up a really good point that there were so many great costumes there that really, I mean, there was this guy that dressed up like the Arkham Knight Scarecrow, and he looked outstanding. He looked so freaking good. But then you see Hulkbuster walk in, it's like, I've spent so much time on my costume, and this guy completely, literally and figuratively overshadowed him because he was so tall. So
I don't know if this applies to the Hulkbuster armor, but at least for most like helmets and that sort of thing, what I've seen is like what people will do, especially with Pepakura, is once they get that all together, or if you make it out of cardboard or whatever it is, they fiberglass the inside and the outside, let that dry. Then they resin the inside and the outside.
Right.
Then they Bondo the outside. Then they sand it. Then they Bondo it again. Then they like prime it. Then they... So that 15 to 2,000 hours, dude, it's not like... We're not talking just kind of, you know, like sloppy kind of like relaxed work here. That was 2,000 hours of actual like difficult painting, sanding, that sort of thing, if it was done the same way.
Right. No, I mean, cosplay is definitely something. I have a lot of respect for people that do it. It's nothing that I've ever done to a crazy extent. I did go to New York Comic Con last year with a friend, and we both dressed up like Legends of the Hidden Temple contestants. So, like, that's not like cosplay. It was more or less just a T-shirt I bought online, a spray-painted gold helmet, and some elbow and knee pads. But it was still a level that, like, people would recognize me, or not me directly, but who I was dressed up as. And we had people coming up and wanting to take their picture with me. And I've never had someone want to take their picture with me, and it was such a surreal thing. So if I got that level of attention, there was probably like 20 people through the series of a day that wanted a picture of me or with me. A series of one day worth of costume that I put that minimum amount of effort into. Imagine putting effort into making a Green Lantern costume, a Red Hood costume, a Master Chief costume, a Gordon Freeman costume, and how much reception you would get from that.
You should be Olmec in the next one.
Olmec?
Olmec, the big talking head.
Yeah. I should be. God, what was his voice like? I'm trying to remember. It
was very
Did
deep.
he have a British accent?
Children.
I'm surprised he didn't.
Yeah.
It was Indian British.
It was kind of like a horribly stereotypical like chief Indian.
It kind of sounded like Zordon from the 90s. Which was, every mentor sounded like Zordon from the 90s.
Well, Zordon
basically.
just kind of sounded like a normal dude. Like,
Rangers.
remember, he didn't... Yeah,
No,
he just
like,
had an American accent, didn't he?
He was just a dude.
Olmec,
some guy
sex
in a tube.
therapist.
Yeah, but Olmec, yeah. Hello, children.
That's
Get in this
South
van
Park.
after climbing me.
Your reward is in this white van.
So, yeah, for anybody listening, once we get more progress on the cosplay stuff, we'll probably post pictures.
Yeah.
You know, follow us on Instagram. Definitely Instagram.
Yeah.
Actually, we could post up a couple like in progress pictures because Colleen's helmet looks actually.
I think
fucking
we'll
cool.
definitely post some in progress things on the Instagram, on the Twitters, on the Snapchat. Once I get a Snapchat
on the
account.
Facebook, which is what now, Joe? What's the Facebook?
What's the Facebook? Are you
The
talking?
question I'm asking you. What's the Facebook so people can go to it?
Well, our Facebook site is The Wrong Podcast. Literally, all of our stuff is The Wrong Podcast.
It's Facebook.com/The Wrong Podcast.
Thank you, Joe. You tried.
Well, when you go to the little search bar, if you type in The Wrong Podcast, we will come up.
I'm going to take your effort and I'm going to put it on the fridge so everyone can see, Joe.
Right next to those horribly drawn pictures.
Yeah.
The Bigfoot in the house and the sun has a smiley face for some reason. All right, so moving on, we have sort of a treat. We're doing good on time. So, us collectively, we have seen Zoolander 2, and we've seen Deadpool.
Yes.
Now, we don't want to necessarily ruin it, so
Right.
what we're going to do is a very small spoiler-contained review for each. But right now, we're just going to,
Right.
try to stay spoiler-free. Just talk about the movies.
Right.
Now, since I will talk about Zoolander because I'm the only one who's seen it.
Right.
You guys, if you guys want to go, a couple
Sure.
minutes and just talk about Deadpool, what you liked, give it a rating, but don't roon it. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a separate video where we're going to talk more in-depth, spoilerific reviews. But yeah, Joe, let's talk about Deadpool and how much we loved it. First, I mean, if you guys had to give it a rating, 1 out of 10, throw it at me.
It was even better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
I give it a 9.
Ooh, it's a good review.
I don't want to give it a 10, but I'm not finding anything that keeps me from giving it a 10, so I'm just going to give it a 10.
Okay, I'm going to give it an 8. I'm a little bit more critical, but the movie's great. For anyone that hasn't seen it, once again, we're not going to get into too in-depth on this video about specifics on why it was as good as it was, but it was so good. I think I had mentioned this when we were all leaving the theater, that as wonderful as I hope Batman Superman will be, and as outstanding Civil War is probably going to end up, Deadpool to me is going to be the fan winner. Like, this is the fan favorite best movie of the year. It probably won't win any awards for this. It probably won't do anything.
I doubt it'll even be nominated.
Yeah,
for anything.
not even close. But when it comes to just like purely fan-driven affair, this movie kills it.
Now, if you like good, wholesome family fun, this is not
This
the
is
movie
not
for
your
you.
movie. Yeah. Once again, without going into spoilers, because we will do that later. I know they've been advertising that this is a hard R movie for months now. They mean it. This movie verges on porn rating.
I'm just going to say this.
This almost couldn't have been in theaters.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Man. It's pretty up there.
Ryan Reynolds and a strap-on. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, that's what I've always wanted.
Did you like the writing?
Yeah, the casting on it was great. Ryan Reynolds is obviously he's pretty much lives to make this character. I think that he's made a lot of mistakes. Green Lantern.
And what's great too is they break the fourth wall all the time, and the
16th one.
they make fun of other. Yeah, there's 16 walls broken in this.
Yeah,
you'll get it if you see it. And they make fun of Green Lantern, X-Men.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're a fan of Deadpool and you know how he acknowledges the audience, they live up to
and
it.
they don't just
lot
make
of
fun
that.
of the X-Men too. They make fun of the production of X-Men. Like they really do break the wall up to the point where they make fun of real world things that we, as nerds and people that talk on podcasts and in normal conversations, like we have the exact conversations that they made reference to in this movie.
Or honestly, even if you are a normal person and you saw you saw the first Wolverine movie,
Right.
and you thought, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
X-Men Origins.
tap on
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No, it was so good. The only gripes I have is that I felt the villain was he was okay. Like he's not someone that's gonna like live with me afterwards. Like
I have a British accent and I'm very mean.
yeah, they called it out in the opening credits. You know, where in the opening credits where they show all the actors' names. The guy that I won't spoil anything. We'll talk about this later. But they didn't even put the actor's name on there. They called him a British villain. He's the most generic villain that I ever could think of, and you know, like I said, this is an origin story. You don't need to have the greatest thing. Deadpool, to me, as someone that probably knows more about the comics than you guys, when it comes to it, I can't think of anyone that's like a standout Deadpool villain. Like when you think Fantastic Four, you think of Doctor Doom. When you think of Iron Man, you think of like Ironmonger or Captain America. You think of Red Skull. With Deadpool, I can't think of anybody, but that also, I think, to them opens them up to have anything they want to do. They could do anything within the property rights of Fox.
Up with original characters just for the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think Deacon Frost is just movie. I don't remember.
Talking Blade?
Yeah, Blade. He was created. No, what I'm saying is it's been done before. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like they should have Deadpool fighting Captain Hook.
Sure, why not?
Okay. All right.
I think I'm not even going to get into that. Never mind. I was going to try and make a way that doesn't make sense, but I'm not going to argue with it. No, I thought the movie was really, really good. You know, Joe, kind of talk a little bit about how much, you know, what you enjoyed about the movie.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I've never, Avengers has some very funny moments in it. This blows it out of the water in the terms of the amount of laughs you get from it. It's just like from the opening credits, like the credits come in and it says, instead of saying people's names, it says stuff like some douchebag and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A pretentious tool for the director. That's
it was very, very humorous. It was a hysterical movie.
I laughed all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good movie.
All right,
Everybody
cool.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was really good. I am very excited for maybe more that they could do with this. This movie obviously exists within the Fox mantle, so it's in the same universe as the X-Men, obviously. So
this isn't a spoiler, but there is some references to other movies, like the Hela character.
That's
not a spoiler.
No.
We're not gonna talk about that right now. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the other video. So
yeah, I'm gonna probably bleep that out anyways.
But yes, so yeah, please bleep that out, Joe. But yes, they obviously make references to other things, not only outside of the Fox superhero franchises, but also even outside into the DC universe and other things too. So they clearly had to have paid some money.
There's
that
some
stuff.
Batman jokes in there.
Yeah, there's a Spider-Man joke in there. There's clearly a Green Lantern joke in there as well.
Right.
Which, I mean, they're all just jokes. They're not references. They're not plugs. You're not seeing Christian Bale walk by on the screen with a Batman thing. So I think making reference to the thing doesn't cost as much as obviously having a full-on reference to something. I mean, hell, they made a reference to Iron Man at the end of the movie. But we'll get into that later.
Okay, I don't quite remember that, but
I don't remember reference to Iron Man either.
The bleep this out. The after credits with the Nick Fury with the eye patch. That's clearly unbleep this now. That's clearly an Iron Man reference.
I actually kind of don't want to go.
No, don't bleep it. No, bleep it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. No, just
maybe it's not that difficult to bleep.
It's probably not that.
Put like a little like cat meowing sound or something like that.
Yeah, not a bleep. We'll have something really hysterical.
Right. I'll know bleeping has to happen around the 30-minute mark.
Or a big voice that goes spoilers.
Yeah, Olmec's voice.
So anyways, other film that I watched, you guys have not seen yet.
Right.
Zoolander 2.
Thoughts?
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
That's pretty good for comedy.
That's high.
It wasn't amazing. It was good. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Deadpool was actually funnier, but not like by, I guess, that much.
Really?
But it was funnier.
Okay.
I'm giving Deadpool a 10 here. It had that 10.
Yeah.
But as a sequel, as a follow up, it's pretty solid. So the first half hour is a bit slow.
Right.
There's a joke in the beginning with Justin Bieber that works really well, especially if you hate him.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. So if you don't like him, you'll love him.
We only make him more popular. The more hate we give to him, he just absorbs it and grows.
He's like the Highlander.
Mom.
Give me your hate.
Let it flow through you.
So after that, the first half hour is a little slow, so I was kind of worried. And also, it's got one of those trailers where it seems like the trailer might be ruining. You know, where they
kind of
put all
felt
the
that.
jokes.
Yeah, I kind of felt that
They
too.
put all the funnies in the trailer, and then there's nothing left.
That's definitely a
Luckily,
big
they did
concern.
not do it.
Okay.
Did not do that. And there's actually shots in the trailer that aren't in the movie. Or like in the movie, it just kind of goes in like a different direction.
Sure.
Which I'm happy about. Although some people on Reddit will say they were betrayed and never watch another movie again.
Ever.
What a tragedy.
Do you feel like, though, does it come up with anything new, or is it
Yes.
just kind of harken back to?
Because that's always my big concern with these movies, that are these sequels or continuations of a franchise, years, if not decades after the fact. Like, I'm not really a big fan of the most recent Dumb and Dumber movie, because I felt that it was just, like, the new jokes were okay, but the only jokes that were funny were the retelling of the original jokes, and the amount of hysterical of that was just okay.
Nice big gulp.
Yeah, exactly. Like, stuff like that just, was all right.
So, watching the movie, what you'll realize is that the movie is very well written. Like, even like as far as the story is concerned, especially, like it's not like a lot of comedy sequels where let's say they would just take Derek Zoolander and just have another enemy show up, and now there's a couple other jokes in the end. All right, movie sucked. This one, they were very aware that this is 15 years later, and these jokes aren't going to hit the same. So it was a lot of reference to not only the first movie, but to kind of how the world has changed in a weird way. Like,
fashion has taken over.
Yeah.
No. Just as far as like Instagram culture and selfie culture. And
So they actually reference like real world trends.
Yes,
I like
yes.
that. I
The
like
writing
that.
is very
Yeah.
sharp on that.
Okay.
Like there's a great bit with
I can appreciate that.
driving while taking a selfie.
I could see
Like, with a
Zoolander
selfie stick.
taking selfies. Yeah.
Oh, I did see that where he was like, it
Yeah.
was like selfie stick or something like that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also in the trailers, they don't mention a character that is actually very central to the plot that I'm very happy about.
Ooh.
They do not touch on it at all.
That's good. That's
And
good
Nice
to know.
twist in it then.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, speaking of twists, the last 20 minutes, there's two pretty solid twists.
Ooh.
And there's one that, like, you can see the tail end of in the trailer, but you don't know what it is. And then when you finally watch the movie, you're like, oh, shit.
Right.
Okay, all right, I get that.
Is there any like fight scenes in it?
Well, what are you expecting? Like whooping?
There was
If
some
men,
fight scenes
yeah.
in the first one for sure.
Well, we're
His
talking
whole-
about Zoolander.
Yeah, the whole plot of Zoolander is they're making models into assassins.
I'm trying to remember what fight scenes from the first Zoolander
So
were.
there's the fight scene on the runway that's towards the end, and then there's the fight scene when they're kind
That
of
was
in the
just-
little base.
I think
Zoolander
you're
doing
using
backflips.
I think you're using the term "scene" very loosely. Right
Okay.
And
now.
fight.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess it was more one. Like you remember when they're
Okay,
training
okay.
him and stuff?
Action sequences. How about
This
that?
this
All right.
movie, I would say, has more
Okay.
of that. But I mean, it's
Sure.
it's a Zoolander movie. There's really not much. There is. I would say there's a little bit more, but it's
Sure.
it's no, it's not Spectre or anything.
How was the how'd the actors, Ben Stiller, who plays
Broken Nose Guy.
Broken Nose Guy,
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. How do you feel that they did they seem engaged and entertained while doing what they were doing? Because some actors they could basically do the role in their sleep to the point where they just look bored doing it. Like did they feel like did you feel like they were super super excited to be there and really invested in making this movie good, or was it kind of just like a payday for them?
No, they looked
Okay.
really excited.
Awesome.
They definitely fit back into their roles.
Oh, do
easily.
they?
Like
Perfect.
you could. There was a nice string between the two
Yeah.
movies, and you know how sometimes you'll watch a sequel and the characters like played a little differently.
Yeah.
There's none of that.
It felt
Will
like
Ferrell
almost
killed
like
it.
they made it
Got to.
immediately afterwards or something like that.
Yes.
Okay,
yes. Will Ferrell crushed.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to.
Is
Kristen Wiig was also pretty damn good.
Yeah, wasn't Penelope Cruz in this too?
She was okay.
Yeah.
She was all right. I mean,
Okay.
she's got a couple, but she was more of like a plot advancer.
Right.
So
A
anything else.
MacGuffin.
Most importantly,
Sort of, yeah.
what sort of crazy words did they butcher?
Oh yeah, that's
Like, you
what I want to
googly?
know.
What sort of
yeah.
what sort of crazy words did the
Yeah, any like standout phrases that they said, like
That's what the first one is
those
known from.
iconic
There's just so
lines.
many.
But the funny thing
one-liners
is,
in it.
when I saw the first one, I couldn't pick anything out until like years later when
Really?
things were starting to pick up.
Sure.
It kind of takes time to pick up.
I feel like when I
momentum.
saw the first one, I was like, I had lots of lines like stuck in my head. You know, what is this? A school for ants?
Yeah.
Well,
how
there's
about
a good one
yeah.
that's like, maybe you should Facebook her, and then Derek's like, yeah. My wife got Facebooked and it killed her because there was a thing, but you'll see it. It's like, I'll say this because I think it is in the trailers.
Right.
But the something happens with like the school, the center for children that can't read good and want to do other stuff good too.
Sure.
You know how the roof is a giant book?
Yeah.
It actually like crushes her to death. So she got
Facebooked.
That's funny.
There's a really great scene with Will Ferrell in this like pig machine that shoots out lard. That's comedy gold.
Sounds
and then
like-
there's like an Adam and Eve and Steve thing, but I don't know that. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into
I was
it,
a
but-
little on the fence about this movie. I may go check it out soon. So yeah, I'm usually not someone that goes to see comedies in theaters because I think that I just don't think the comedies perform as well as other types of blockbuster type movies. But you've convinced. We've been talking about seeing this movie for a while anyway.
Yeah,
So
it is pretty good. Go see it with a lot of people in the theater. So I
Right.
went to the
This is a group
10:30
environment.
a.m. showing.
Yeah.
and I
Nobody
was
there.
One of like 3 people.
okay.
So you don't get the same energy as like with Deadpool as a packed
we got
house.
packed.
Oh, it was packed.
You know, even the things I don't think are funny, somebody else will laugh, and I'll laugh at their laughing.
Yeah.
So I think you'll get extra.
I think having that
with a
room
full
full of
theater.
excitement, it's always really good. Like when Star Wars came out, like being in a room with other people that appreciate it. Going to Comic-Con is another one that I can use as an example where like being in a room of people that kind of get you and the kind of things you're interested in.
Right.
Not
It's
to
a
mention the sexy chicks.
Oh God, yes. It's a level of like engagement that I think always makes things more fun. If anything, Deadpool, going back to that, and we'll go back to Zoolander as well. And actually, both movies is using a good example that it's a hysterical situation to be in a room full of people laughing at the same joke. Like you almost feel like you're a part of something together. So
Yes,
yeah,
agreed.
cool,
Cool.
awesome.
Yes.
Glad we talked this through.
Affirmative.
There's
Shut
some
up,
really
Joe.
good cameos.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's always cameos. Like, I mean, the last movie had them.
Should we spoil these?
The cameos, no, because
Yeah,
they're
spoiler
they're
territory.
actually central to the plot in
Okay.
some
so
places.
I heard David Bowie.
Oh come on!
I haven't seen the movie, so I just heard like
he is not in the movie.
that's
Too
sad
soon.
because he's in the first one. And
he is.
Yeah.
I may be of some service.
Rest in peace, Starman.
Man,
Yes.
so
I
sad.
just listened to Black Star.
Oh, how is it?
So I'm not into that type of music, but I
Right.
was thoroughly entertained. I liked it.
I'm kind of the same. Like he's not like my go-to, but I mean, I appreciate David Bowie for what he's done. Like,
It's the
It's
music
well written.
video. It's
Yeah.
like 7 minutes long too. It's like a decent long song.
The title track Black Star is very long.
yeah,
I'm not a
anyways,
white star,
yeah,
I'm a black
so
star.
Zoolander, it's a solid movie. You know, it won't win any Oscars, but go see it, have an open mind, and just have fun with
Before we move on to the
Pretty
next
stupid.
one, because we're doing pretty good on time with this so far. If anything, we're probably moving.
We are. We're moving a
we're
little
moving
quick.
We're
Hey,
moving
slow it
pretty
down.
quickly, actually.
So how about Packers?
Yeah, no, shut up. Kind of going into the same kind of movie that Zoolander is there? How about this? What is a movie franchise that they don't have a current production of that you would love to see them do another iteration
Another
of? Not a reboot, but a new continuation of. Is there any movie that's like an old classic? Well, like because we have Ghostbusters coming out this year. We just found out before we started recording today that they're doing an Austin Powers 4, which I'm going to see. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be
I'll
there.
absolutely be there. So is there any other movies that any of you would love to see as like a classic comedy or an old action franchise or something that you would want to see as a continuation? So
Joe, you go first.
I got to think on this one here.
Okay, Joe, don't go first. What I would love, and honestly, I mean, a lot of these movies are becoming really, really popular. Creed, for instance, which I never saw in theaters, and I really regret that I didn't. I heard was wonderful, and it was obviously a kind of side story, but within the same universe of the Rocky movies. In the sense that, it was obviously within the universe that the Rocky movies were in, but the focus was away from Rocky and on Apollo Creed's son. And I heard that movie's outstanding.
I haven't seen it, but I heard good things about it.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, Scott gave it a 9.5 or a 10, and Scott's brutal.
Yes.
I mean, he's
To our listeners, Scott was on our first podcast that
Episode
was buried in the
0.
Marinara Trench.
Yeah, it's if you do want to listen to it, it's I think it is public. If you go to the channel Waka 867, WAKA 867,
We'll link it in the description
Yeah.
below.
it's not horrible.
Yeah.
It was picked up at the end. But anyways, yeah, if he liked it, then Creed is good.
I think I mean, like I said, I think a lot of these movies are kind of being re-energized right now. Ghostbusters, I'd mentioned. Creed is another one. Jurassic World was obviously a huge success last year, and they haven't made a Jurassic Park movie in a while. And all of a sudden, Jurassic Park is so hot right now, so everybody wants to kind of get on that bandwagon.
He's so hot right now.
You know what I want a redoing of that I thought was just horribly butchered?
Sure.
The Resident Evil series.
Okay.
Yes.
So because they're making 2 more.
No.
Yeah, no. They're like, they're like, we're gonna make 2 more, and I think they're done.
Yeah, that's
but
what
you
they
want
said
them,
like 3 movies ago.
I just
but you want
a
them to
complete
stop
reboot.
and do everything over.
And make it like how the games are,
Okay.
please.
The first one was
good.
decent. Yeah, I liked it.
It didn't really follow. I felt
still
the
didn't
game.
follow the storyline at all for the
It didn't follow the
games,
storyline, but I still felt that it was the closest to the feel of the game
Yes.
compared to any of them. But you're right. Like story-wise, they're just like, we're just going to take a name and
the
make
story you have for
zombies.
this game? We're just going to throw it in this fire here, and we're going to make our own thing.
So here's when Resident Evil jumped the shark. All right, I was actually, Joe, you were there, and I was with Scott, and we were watching Resident Evil 2, which I
Is
think
that the one we snuck into the movie theater to watch 2 movies? For
I
the
think
price
it
of
might
one?
have been allegedly. It was.
You can't prove that.
Was it Resident Evil Apocalypse? Was the second one?
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, it was
Yeah, I
one
think
with
so,
the
yeah.
first one with Mike Epps or
With Nemesis in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this movie's been out for years, so I'm not going to spoil anything. They're walking through a graveyard, okay, and zombies, pretty like healthy looking zombies. I mean, just dirty. They come out of graves, okay.
That's more House of the Dead-ish than Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Exactly.
very
It's
Kill
like they've
Bill.
never played the
Volume two.
games or didn't think
They
about.
probably didn't.
Yeah.
Also, how the hell did the virus get into graves? And
Well, it's
these
like
people have been buried for 30 years, and they just
Isn't it like the Walking Dead virus then at that point, where it's like everybody has it? You just have to wait to
they
die?
never say
No.
it that way.
Well, no, I'm
No.
not saying that they don't, but I'm just saying like if that's the quote-unquote science behind it, then yes.
that plot hole? I mean, it really was a plot hole.
You're
a
really
big
upset
one.
about this movie from 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I was
still,
pissed.
Still, you have raging nightmares at the end. Like like, oh god, apocalypse! No.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
And Nemesis
Resident
was
Evil
cool.
2 was
Nemesis
so
was
good
really
of a
cool.
game, and like,
Nemesis
they didn't
looked
take
great.
the story aspects at all. They're like, well, we got this great Raccoon City that has lots of
Yeah.
good story to go with it, and nothing.
Yeah, they eventually just kind of. I think they got put themselves into a corner, and they're just like, well, while we're in this corner, let's dig into
Let's
this
just
corner more.
Urinate in the corner. And sit on it.
But there has been a video game movie that was kind of looser, but I thought was really good. Was the first Silent Hill movie? I thought that
I would
was
agree
a
with
very
that.
good.
I
one.
haven't seen it, but I hear it's good.
It's great.
It's pretty good. I think when it comes to horror, it's very light. I felt the second one was a little
it's
bit
light on
scarier. But I will agree that the first one felt like a Silent Hill game. Like it had that.
Those sirens
feel,
go off, and I got the chills.
Yeah, no, it really felt like Silent Hill, and I'm a big fan
Even
of
a
that
Pyramid Head
franchise.
scared the shit out of me in
Yeah.
both the game and that movie.
I mean, that's a really hard character to mess up. It's a guy with a pyramid head and a big ass sword.
He's fucking
but
scary.
they still gave him justice to the point where he was terrifying in those things. And yeah, it was a really, really good.
They'll
So
rip your
How do
skin
you guys
off.
feel about this? Resident Evil rebooted by Danny Boyle. 28 Days Later was good.
28 Days was pretty good. I would like to see another 28 years later. Has it been 28 years since the last one?
No, that
Okay.
was like 2003.
Oh, okay. ask me this question in 15 years or whatever that math works out to be.
What
They did
about
28
directed
months
by-
later, and I heard that wasn't that
I
great.
thought it was weeks.
About directed by
28 weeks,
Rodriguez.
I'd watch that movie though.
Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he could.
Yeah.
He could do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, in between his children movies, then yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So he's gonna make Spy Kids 12. Then he'll make this, and then he'll make The Return of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and then I'd watch that.
He produced Predators, and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed it a lot more than Predator 2, that's for sure. No offense to Danny Glover.
Aw.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Glover. All right, so let's see. Before we move on, just to recap. So you had said, because we kind of got off track. And,
Right.
What movie do we want to see?
Yeah,
rebooted? Mine was
which one?
Resident Evil.
Okay, yours was Resident Evil. Oh, I never said mine.
You never said yours.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's where we got off track.
Blade.
Blade, nice.
Blade.
Would you
But I
still want
want it
Wesley
directed
Snipes?
by Stephen Norrington.
Ooh, that's a good choice. Yeah.
Do you still want Wesley Snipes, or would you tolerate a
I
different
would say
actor?
absolutely
different
Wesley
actor.
Snipes. No, absolutely Wesley Snipes.
Different actor. So Wesley Snipes is notoriously difficult to work with.
Right.
So in order to,
Well, he was. Is he still now? Is
I
the
don't know.
question
When's
post
the
prison?
last movie you seen Wesley
was
Snipes
was in
in?
prison for a while,
Expendables
so.
3.
Yeah.
Horrible movie.
Well, so the nice thing about the original Blade, Stephen Norrington, and Blade 2 was awesome. Guillermo del Toro did a great job, but it just felt like, you ever seen a movie where it's like 3 in the morning and nobody says a word for like 10 minutes and it's just really a weird vibe and it's just unsettling?
2001: Space Odyssey.
Kind of.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about the first Blade. I felt like that movie, was straight from like the 70s, and it was really gritty, man. Like
Yeah.
when people get fucked in that movie, like,
They get it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh they
I just
they
thought
catch
of
hell
another one that'd
pretty
be good
easily.
remake, Blade Runner.
No, don't ever touch that. You can't.
Yeah, some things have to be
yeah,
left.
That is not something I ever want
It's
to
like
see in my
rebooting
lifetime.
Indiana Jones. Well, so anyways, just let's segue over. Did anybody watch the Super Bowl?
You mean that sports thing?
I missed the season finale of that.
Yeah, the last
Yeah.
last episode was
Yeah.
not the best, but it was
I heard it was like the Lost
decent.
finale.
Piggers
so-
are
Yeah,
going
just-
all the way this year.
Everybody's dead.
right. Yeah. Well, oh shit! Did you?
I think
spoil it?
I'm not spoiling a show that's been done for this amount
Okay.
of time. If you
Anyone
haven't
who
wa-
doesn't know about Lost, they were all dead.
no, don't.
That's not it. Have you even watched
well,
Lost?
I mean, technically. Anyways, we're moving on.
Whatever.
I
We're
could
not
go
going to get into
forever
this
about
debate
Lost.
right now.
Anyways,
Joe, you do follow football though.
So I have been watching a bit of this recent season of
Sure.
of the football
I'm the Bachelorette
50.
football edition.
season 50. Yeah. It was a very weird game. It went down very different than most people thought it would. I think probably anybody thought it would. It was Peyton Manning's most likely last rodeo,
That's what I heard. Yeah.
and
It's good to see him go out on
it was
top, though.
more. I would say it was a game of defenses more than offenses there, and
it was a game of one
Thrones.
team's offense just bouncing off the defense like they're trying to run into a brick wall.
Well,
It's-
Cam Newton was known for having a season of being like untouchable. Like he went many games without being sacked, and then against the Super Bowl,
All
he
of a
got
sudden.
sacked 6 times, and like you could see he was frustrated. There was one part where he just falls on the ground on the sidelines and rolls around like a little baby.
like baby puppy monkey baby.
Oh god.
That was a strange commercial.
I don't understand how commercials like that get made. That like someone pitched that idea, someone had to digitally render that creature, someone then had to show it to executives and quality assurance boards, and then show it to a studio, and every one of those people said yes.
They're trying to
make
create
this.
a meme, and they are succeeding.
But it's
So we're talking about it, so yes.
Yeah.
So I've
word of
actually
mouth is free.
seen that baby puppy
Puppy
monkey
Puppy monkey baby.
on
monkey baby.
a YouTube advertisement before
Oh, really?
the Super Bowl,
I didn't know about that.
several weeks.
Well,
I remember
the commercials
the
come out beforehand.
Oh.
no, it wasn't the same commercial as the Super Bowl, but it was the same
Lead
whatever
up to it
weird
type
character
thing.
that is.
Okay, interesting.
And it was for that Kickstarter drink, so I guess they succeeded in that. I remember what they're selling.
Puppy monkey baby prequel.
Yeah.
It's just
Rise
I
of
feel
the
like
Puppy Monkey
sometimes do these old men hire some younger people and like we need to create a trend here that people will remember, get stuck in their heads, and like they just brainstorm. They're like, well, what do people like? Well, puppies are really popular on the internet. Oh, and so are babies
and monkeys.
Yeah.
Well, no, you bring up an exact point that it's older execs that don't understand how modern media and modern advertisement works, hiring young people because they think that that's the type of people they're trying.
Yeah, a lot of the people in the media
basically trying to get
our age.
Yeah, but so there you have two different generations that are so vastly different from each other, trying to make decisions based on what the people in the middle should be watching and doing, and that's where you run into these issues. So no, it's a really messed up commercial. But I will
commercial I don't remember seeing.
Huh?
Where were the Clydesdales?
Actually, I didn't see one either.
Did they even have one this year for Budweiser for Clydesdale? I know they had Budweiser commercials, but I don't remember.
No, I don't remember.
And then you had Peyton Manning at the end of his interview. I'm going to go home and drink a lot of Budweisers. And I think he said it like twice in this.
Yeah, he said it once. He was actually not paid for that. The dude actually sits and drinks Budweiser.
I did see.
All that money you have, you're going to drink Budweiser?
I did see him go up, and one of the very first people he saw right afterwards was John from Papa John's.
Really?
Yeah, there's this internet meme going around right now where he's going up and like giving him a hug, and then the text is like, "I've done this deed for you. Release my family from your contract, Papa."
Hey guys, I have these chocolate peanut things. I think like peanut butter in the middle. You want some?
Sure.
Eileen didn't want them, and I can't ingest that much chocolate.
Great, give us your scraps.
Sure.
There's an inappropriate joke in here somewhere. All right.
I just want to put this as a side thing. I just got an email from Xbox on my phone,
wow,
and it's talking about Far Cry Primal, which is the next game within the Far Cry universe.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
And it looks interesting. And the one line on here, because we're talking about bad advertisement and bad use of terms, is the clickable link, because you can get it for like a great deal, is sounds like a mammoth deal. Someone at one point typed that sentence, and I hope that he listens to this one day. And I just want you to know that you're a bad person. I want you to hear those words.
I have mixed feelings about that game. I think they have a lot of stuff they could do with it, but I don't think they're gonna.
Sure.
I think they should really play up the survival aspect,
right?
And building shelters and stuff like that. But I don't think they're going to do that.
I think that is at that point trying to basically do what Ark Survival is trying to do, which is becoming very, very popular right now.
I've been thinking about trying that.
With it.
Oh yeah, so it's this new. It's one of those games that they're making a lot of beta versions of it, so you can play the preview version of it ahead of time. Oh, Joe,
what the hell?
He died.
It's the chocolate.
And basically it's a survival game. So think of like Minecraft in 3D, but there's also dinosaurs everywhere as well. So you have to build things, you have to get clothing, you have to build houses.
You get to wrangle dinosaurs.
But then you can also wrangle dinosaurs, but it's also an open world online experience too, where you can kind of interact with other people. So it's a very I've played a little bit of the beta. It's a really interesting game. So I think that we're just dropping shit everywhere now. Thank God for GoPros.
Gonna drop these mics.
Oh, drop these beats.
Yeah, so speaking of the GoPro, now I know that battery lasts about 45 minutes.
Oh, good to know. So that's why I kept dying out on us last time?
Do we have a camera we could just plug in?
No, that was
Who does
the other
that?
camera. No, it's okay. So I think next time we can just use some sort. Fuck, there's got to be a way to do it.
How about we talk about this later?
Yeah, whatever. People,
all right.
People will listen to it.
I
think.
I have a little Logitech camera. It does 720p. It costs $20. You just
Whoa.
hook it up to your computer.
How many Ps?
720p's.
All the P's.
Yeah.
Edwin's all about them 1080.
Whoa.
Although, weirdly enough, as an Xbox One player, I don't really usually shit about Ps.
You're used to your 900 P's.
Yeah.
If that.
Hey, Rise looked great, and it was 900 Ps.
Rise did look good, so. All right, we should probably move on to our debate for the day.
Well, we have like 20 minutes left.
Debate
will that take 20 minutes?
Yeah, sure. We should have 5 minutes of time, and then random talking, and then we'll just do it.
All right, whatever. Anyways, yeah, so we are at the debate portion of the show where we very crappily debate things,
Yeah.
and then one
Feel
of
the
us
burn.
makes really,
Joe.
really arbitrary decisions that just kind of don't make sense, but whatever.
I just want to point out that Joe is like that pump guy for any like rap battle. He's always that guy that just stands in the background and just yells like, "Yeah!"
Oh, the hype man.
Yeah, the hype man. Yeah, like he doesn't say anything unless it's like a hype conversation. So.
Yeah, debate.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks, Joe.
Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, thanks,
Jaeger
Joe.
bombs.
Thanks, 2003
Jaeger
Yes.
bombs.
We got it. We get it. We get it.
Don't
Joe.
mess with me, bro. I'm in the zone.
All right. So, as you guys probably know at this point, I like cars. I'm a car guy.
Really?
They like me. I like them. We have an understanding.
You have a car fetish?
So, Joe, don't get like half an inch from the mic. Just just normal, like this. Give it about like 4 inches at least.
I know you're used to blowing things that close to your mouth.
I'll give you 4 inches.
Oh God, we are the worst.
4 inches from from what I hear, it's around.
Oh, that's an awful. Anyway, let's move on.
Hubble Space Telescope.
clearly-
And there
getting
goes
off
all our
topic.
female viewership.
Yeah.
Which one? Which
Which one? Our significant others don't count.
Hey, my sister listens to this.
Does she?
Shout out to my big sis.
We are not bleeping
Yeah.
out any of that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I wanted to bring a little more, just a little bit more car content into the show, but as
Sure.
it relates to what we already talked about. So the debate is about the best fictional car.
Ooh. All right.
So each of you will have I'm gonna
However
say
long
4
we want.
minutes. Oh, 4, 8.
Time.
5 minutes max.
Sure.
You can end it before then, but
Right.
5 minutes max. And then we'll go from there. And then I will decide who's going to win. And then whoever loses, let's see.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
we
figure
haven't
out
discussed
the
that.
punishment for the person who loses, and also a tiebreaker.
Okay.
It's really cold outside. A loser could go outside barefoot into the snow.
That sounds awful.
That sounds really shitty.
Yeah.
It's only
Don't
1 degree
lose
out.
then.
Wow, it's brutal. Joe, you better not lose.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What is a good tiebreaker? I mean, we did arm wrestling last time, which was very funny, don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure Joe would kick my ass at that if we did that again, so I really don't like that tiebreaker.
No, actually, Joe would lose. So
Really?
Yeah. Now, I
What?
don't take this to offense, but you weigh the most. You weigh much more than I do.
Ah.
So,
Dude,
you know.
my hand has
You
a
know what I
lot
mean?
of
That's
strength,
fair.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's true. Joe could crush your hand.
I don't think that's how arm wrestling works.
That's how Joe works.
Tiebreaker, I don't know, we'll come to that if we need it, I guess. As for punishment...
One televised round of IDARB.
Oh, deal.
Yeah.
How is that punishment? That sounds lovely.
That sounds fun.
That
No,
sounds
I'm
great.
sorry, tiebreaker.
Oh, tiebreaker's IDARB?
Is
okay.
IDARB.
Yeah, I could
Which would be easy. I could just tape it with my phone, and
Yeah,
my
sure.
phone won't just randomly stop recording. Like
No, good.
So you're implying that we're going to need a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I plan on demolishing Colton. And
oh my
Shots
goodness.
fired. You know what? We'll figure out punishment later. Joe, go on.
Okay.
You're first.
I'll
I
come
wanna-
up with something while
Yeah.
you guys are
So,
going. So,
please,
whoa, before
by,
you start.
by all means,
All right,
Joe.
5, 4, 3, 2, 5 minutes, go.
Number one car,
Fictional car.
Bumblebee from Transformers.
Wow, that's what you brought to the table?
I'm bringing Bumblebee.
Just
So-
stay out of it. All right, go.
Bumblebee not only is a car, but he's a motherfucking robot. And he's a big robot at that, even though he's smaller than the other ones. Dude, Bumblebee is the best fictional car. His first iteration, yeah, he was just a little Volkswagen Bug. But in the Michael Bay movies, he's a fucking Camaro. A yellow Camaro, too. Pretty sweet looking. Helps you get smoking hot ladies like Megan Fox.
That's arguable.
He can fight Decepticons.
Shut your hole, Colton, please. I'm begging you.
If the world's being
I'm gonna mute
overrun
the
by
mic.
robots, what fictional car would you want? I would want freaking Bumblebee. He knows kung fu. He's a giant robot that spin kicks. He's a sweet ride.
Continue, go.
Keep going. I want to see how hard you scrape the barrel.
Hey, Bumblebee is the best here. He's yellow. That's a pretty sweet car color. Did I mention that he's yellow?
Yes, you did.
Multiple times.
He's a freaking robot. You know, he can transform. He has guns when he's bigger.
2.5 minutes.
There's a lot to talk about for a car.
We'll cut it. We'll cut it early. We'll do 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you got another minute and 20 seconds.
Minute and 20 seconds.
Come on, Joe. Come up with more.
He
Give me
fights.
more. Give me more.
He fights everything.
All right.
Bumblebee.
All
Best
right.
car.
Are you
done?
conceding the remainder of your
No,
time?
no. All right. So, all right. The things that are great about Bumblebee. He's the first of the
1 minute.
Transformers to come to Earth and encounter humanity. So he makes him the first. So that's always the best. And he comes to a boy who's in dire need. You know, he could have gone to like some top military brass. You know, that'd probably be the smart decision. But no, he makes a risk. And he goes to somebody who's got a rundown life, needs a car, gets a sweet car, gets a girl with that sweet car, finds out that not only is his car sweet, but it's a freaking transforming robot. And he then gets embroiled in this giant universe-spanning battle. And
They never left Earth.
they go to the moon, okay?
They never do. Decepticons come from. the moon.
Hey, stay out of it. You got 15 seconds.
And he ends up meeting, through Bumblebee, even cooler vehicles. You know, meets Optimus Prime, you know, Starscreech, all these great stuff.
All right, you got. You know what? You have 1 second and done. All right, let's kind of wait a little bit before you do yours. So yeah, we'll
Sure.
stick to the 3-minute thing instead
right,
of
cool.
5.
Yeah.
Let's see. So that would be
Math is hard.
Wait, yeah, 11.5 minus 3 is 8.5, 7.5,
Okay. All right.
8.5, 8.5.
8.5.
So you got another 8 seconds before you can start.
Oh,
Joe, I appreciate your
Gusto.
honesty and your something.
Bumblebee's
All right,
the shit.
go.
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty, Joe, but you're about to get your face wrecked by my fist and or my dick. I haven't decided yet. But anyways, we're going to move on to clearly the best decision on this battle, which is the Back to the Future DeLorean. Clearly the best fictional car in any context of the term. I also do want to point out that through the entire argument that you just made, you never once referred to Bumblebee as a transformer. You referred to him as a robot.
I say Transformer.
No, you said transforming robot. That's basically like the cheap toys at a Kmart. That
We're going
they're
to listen
trying
back to this.
scrub
I'm pretty
off.
sure I said Transformer.
Joe, you got to stay out of
Yeah,
it.
no,
Gotta stay out
you
of it.
never referred to him once as a transformer. You referred to him as a transforming robot. But anyways, we're going to move on to clearly the best fictional car in the world because he does everything that you explained that Bumblebee does, plus can time travel. He introduced Marty McFly to a multi-spanning time-traveling adventure, also hooked him up with his girlfriend, Jennifer, and took him into the future, took him into the past, met his best friend from a decade-spanning adventure over 3 movies, and I will argue that the Back to the Future movies are clearly better than the Transformers movies in every possible way because none of them are made by Michael Bay. So, I mean, everything that you said that the Bumblebee does, any of the Transformers could do, but if anything, the better Transformer choice would have been someone like an Optimus Prime. You picked the B-listed version of... You picked Bumblebee of all the Transformers, the worst of the team.
I think Bumblebee's sweet.
If you
Bumblebee
picked
is a-
Optimus Prime,
Yeah,
it would have been.
Bumblebee is a cool Transformer, but he is not in any way even up to league with Optimus Prime. But moving back to the DeLorean, who is clearly the best fictional car because it is a car. He meets up through the destiny that is Marty McFly's life, but at the same time, time travels, which is something that no Transformer in at least the Michael Bay movies can and is currently doing. So we're talking about an entirely different aspect of flying as well, which Bumblebee cannot do, whether in robot form or car form. If you had picked Optimus Prime, he could fly. At the
DeLorean
end.
can't fly.
Yes, it
Yes, it
can. What are you
can.
talking about?
First of all, yes, it can. Second of all, stay out of it.
Absolutely it can. Did you watch the end of Back to the Future or the beginning of Back to the Future 2 or any other part of Back to the Future 2?
Okay, when it's in the future, yes, it does.
No,
fly.
it does it in the past.
Joe,
Because
I'm going to warn you one more time.
I'm going to give you a quote from the movie. Tell me which movie this is from. Where we're going, we don't need roads. And then they fly off into the credits at the end of Back to the Future 1 when they're in 1986. Middle finger to Joe. No one can see this.
15 seconds.
So DeLorean is clearly the better choice because it does everything when it comes to hooking up someone with the love of their life and going on a great adventure plus time travel. It is Doctor Who mixed with Transformers, which is the best thing I've ever heard of in my life. And that's all I need to.
So I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
No.
I want to hear. I want to hear why I'm wrong.
30-second rebuttal.
And I want to hear Joe try.
So first off, the DeLorean.
Hang on. Starting now.
Glaring flaw with the DeLorean. It requires like a uranium core to even travel back in time, or something gigawatts that you can only get from like a lightning strike. So good luck using that frequently. Second, it doesn't even have a fucking radio in it, so you can't even listen to some tunes while you're driving through time.
It doesn't. He's right.
Oh, that's true.
Keep going.
So that's the big flaw with Bumblebee. He is powered by a living spark. So he is literally a living creature that is a
and
vehicle.
You're done.
I'm going to argue, though, that the spark is a form of energy.
No, it's
my time to rebuttal.
No. All right. 5, 4.
He's a horrible
3,
moderator.
2. Shut up. Go.
I'm going to argue that the spark is any other form of energy, or just like the fusion reactors that are, or the type of energy that the DeLorean uses. So it could also go away. No form of energy is unfallible. So basically, the DeLorean is clearly better because of every other thing that it can do. Yes, it does require a certain type of energy to time travel, but I guarantee if any Transformer was going to go time traveling, it would also need a different type of energy in order to do that. Sure, it doesn't transform into a giant robot, but it doesn't matter.
Okay. Wow, that was just garbage.
Joe,
what?
No,
Did you
let me
feel
do
that?
my thing.
Because I feel pretty.
So, Joe, remember how I tell you?
successful.
You remember how I tell you, hey, dude, before the podcast, you should prepare.
I picked it. I was ready.
You picked it. Did you?
I knew
you could have
Bumblebee.
written stuff down, and you knew yesterday because you told me yesterday what your pick was. That's number one. Number two, you said Star Screech.
I heard that too. I didn't want to point it out. You call him Star Screech.
Star
Scream.
Star Scream.
Yeah. Clearly
Ice
a
cream.
Transformers fan over here.
I'm not the
Second
biggest
of all,
fan. I'll be honest, I've only seen one Transformer movie.
Listen, I really wish you would have picked
first one.
Optimus Prime.
Okay.
If you picked Optimus Prime, whoa, that would be tough.
I still probably would have won.
Again,
Close.
it's really tough. But yeah, Joe, dude, you gotta prepare your shit more, man. You got wrecked. It's okay. It's okay.
I think I had pretty good rebuttal with DeLorean. Requires the uranium.
That's actually false. Remember, it can run on garbage.
It can, after it gets a Mr. Fusion installed into it, yes.
Okay, so if it gets an optional Mr. Fusion installed for $6.99 at the dealer,
Fallout now?
Yeah, probably, actually. No, I will say that was a really good point to make, but it doesn't... Making a point to me doesn't change the fact of you to do time travel. You would also require a different form of energy.
It doesn't even talk to you, though.
Joe, one of you... Okay.
Why would you need it to talk
one
to you?
Of your good
Doc
points,
Brown.
One of your good points was that Bumblebee was yellow. Okay, it wasn't that yellow is iconic or that Bumblebee has been in many other forms of media. No, it was just yellow.
Yeah.
Really? Come
you
on.
didn't say the Batmobile. You didn't say.
I didn't want to go with the Batmobile.
I just want to argue that Batmobile was my secondary one.
I was thinking, but no, I honestly, that's what I thought Colton was going to pick. So I purposely did not pick the
I assumed that people
What
would have
was your
assumed that I would.
second?
I was thinking Knight Rider.
That would have been.
That would have been pretty
so,
good. Yeah.
Remember,
But I also am
night,
not fluent enough in Knight Rider.
Yeah,
I only know of it.
Listen, last night you guys both told me what your answers were going to be, and I told you there was no crossover. So how could you think that he was going to go with the Batmobile if you mentioned Batmobile?
I stuck with Bumblebee, man. You got to stick by your guns.
Whatever. All right.
Your bad Michael Bay guns.
Feel the burn.
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry to tell you that you have lost. Now, next time, what I want you to do is when I say, hey, the debate is going to be best fictional mother.
That's not what the debate will be.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If in the future it's best fictional mother, don't not think of it until 30 seconds before you actually have to go on.
Well, that's
All right,
what
let's
actual
not-
politicians do. They get up there and
Let's not sit here and
brainstorm.
just drill into Joe, even though he's a big loser.
You guys suck.
Listen, but
Joe, you're
going back,
punished?
we like Joe.
Yeah.
Joe is an excellent person, human being, an artist. He's a true scholar,
Yeah.
and he was at my wedding, so I like him.
Aw, that's adorable.
Also, he's a turd.
Your mother.
All right, Joe, your punishment is that you have to buy me lunch one of these days.
Fuck
Wait,
that.
no.
I don't mean. I'm not saying going into Red Lobster. I'm saying like,
You can't come up with a punishment.
why not?
Because you're coming up with a punishment after you won. It could
That's a good
easily
point.
be, some really
You
weird
have to
stuff.
buy me a car now.
Well, I wasn't going to say like take me out to Chili's or anything. I was going to be like a McDonald's burger, but fine, whatever you want to come up with.
Joe, you have to buy him a dollar menu burger.
All right, fine.
I want fries and drink.
What?
Small fries, the one that comes in the paper
The
thing, not
sleeve?
the cardboard.
Yeah.
The
Then you're
sleeve.
getting the Wendy's 4 for $4.
Oh, dude, that'd be great. Can we have that on the way home? Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't even know where Wendy's is on the way home.
There's one on.
Who's hosting next show?
I am.
Are you?
I am.
Our favorite host, Colton.
My favorite host, Colton. Wait.
Way to be narcissistic.
No, I feel as though I've been a pretty decent host.
No, you've been great. Yeah,
You
no.
had great segues.
Your segues are
Much
very
better
good.
than the actual segue, which people die on.
including the creator of the.
That's
segue.
actually a myth. There's
Martin
a documentary
Segway.
out there about him.
Oh, so he's still alive.
Yes, he's still alive, and he's trying to make
I'm an idiot,
a
sorry.
device that transforms any dirty water into clean water. So he's actually a great guy.
That probably sounds better
Nice.
than the Transformer you picked for the debate. Oh.
I'm going to
So,
Optimus Prime all over you.
One of these days.
Ew.
Whoa. Yeah, dude, your sister's listening, maybe. Well, she's probably been disgusted by this point, and
Yeah.
she's exited the
What's your
building.
sister's name again? I forgot.
We call her Betsy.
What's her actual name?
I'm not going to divulge that information because then she'll have stalkers.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
do that.
because no one has the same first name as her. Ever. Anyways.
Her real name is Elizabeth. Right? Is that it?
No, it's not.
That's not it? Okay. Wow, shame on me.
Why would you even say that?
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't
All right,
like
we're gonna
your
wrap
sister.
this
I
up
don't even
now,
know my
yeah.
own sister's name, man. You know me for how long?
I know, but I only
No, I'm
see them
kidding.
like
It
once
is
every-
Elizabeth.
Oh, you bastard.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up now.
Yeah, we are. So before we wrap up, just to kind of get everybody up to speed, if you liked what you heard, please like, subscribe. Please subscribe,
Yeah.
comment, especially if you hate us.
Yeah.
Especially me.
You
I know I
right?
suck.
Why? I want big, long, thought-out sentences.
Yeah.
Paint a picture. Show, don't say.
Yeah.
Use very colorful verbs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Also, we have an Instagram account.
Yep, we just started an Instagram account. We're going to be in a Snapchat together eventually. We also do have us on SoundCloud now, which we're going to be uploading all the episodes hopefully this weekend. So
Hopefully.
so we'll have episode 1, 2, and then this will be episode 3. Which have we come up with a title for this episode? We discussed it last night. But
We'll come up with something.
Something
now,
hysterical.
For
Very
anyone
funny
waiting
involved.
for the SoundCloud, this is being recorded on a Saturday. This is Saturday, February 13th.
right.
The SoundCloud will probably be up by Tuesday.
Sure.
So it's like 16.
And then we're also looking to have us up on iTunes podcast as well.
Yes.
So definitely a lot of different venues people can check us out at. But let us know what you think.
We're going to be invading all of the interwebs.
all of your ears.
Yeah. We also have a Facebook, which again, I want to repeat, is facebook.com/The
The Wrong Podcast.
Whoa. There we go. Thanks, everybody.